told them. And at least you told them that it was not okay.
Yes, you got to voice your feelings and your opinion on that matter. And sometimes that's enough for kids. Sometimes it's enough for us as adults, right? We're like, well, I said my piece, right? So,
yes,
same concept.
But it's all about building these, not saying to a 3-year-old all of these concepts, because obviously y'all are probably thinking, oh my goodness, how do we just have our 1-year-old understand this? You don't, but you do it over time.
It's a learned behavior, and it's learned through consistency. Yeah. Lots of practice. You'll get lots of practice, I promise.
And yeah, because they're gonna offend each other, and they're gonna offend others. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. And
everyone's gonna be fine.
I think the important takeaway from all of this is that most of it is completely normal developmental behavior. Most of it. There are extremes, right, where your son's biting himself. That's a little like that. I don't count that as like a normal toddler behavior, but them biting others, them hitting others and scratching others.
Yes.
Normal behaviors. And I get so upset when I hear about these schools that are just like, oh, I can't believe so-and-so bit. And I'm like, well, how old are they? And they're like, they're 2. And I'm like, are they teething? Because it's pretty normal, because their mouth hurts, they're angry, and so, I'm going to bite you. Now, if they're biting everybody's ankles anytime somebody walks by, sure, that's a little less normal. But kids biting in general,
but every developmental stage is absolutely different. And when I was going to the same daycare, we had a child that was in our class, a little older than Liza's, and that child consistently was biting every day, multiple children every day. But that child was having a very severe teething behavior, and it was, and I never blamed that child. I never got upset at school because I obviously I do not want my child bit. However, that child needed a little extra help. And so some of those children, you can give them frozen fruit in a chew. What are those chew things called?
They're like teething pouches.
Like little mesh packs. Yeah. And that was one of the things that I felt like that individual did end up getting better about, because the teachers were consistently giving it.
They tried really hard.
Bit someone, they would give one. And so it's kind of one of those things that it's not always the kid's fault. You do also have to think medically about it. Yeah. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Now, I always thought they handled that very well. And yes, both of our kids got
they did.
But the school was good about communicating and relaying that to us. And then you could actively see the teachers were actively trying to prevent that from happening. So, it's a thing. It's a thing.
And the teachers don't want your kid getting bit either. No, they also want to go home on time. Yeah, they want to go home on time. They got to go get their own kids. Like, I promise you, they do not want your kid getting hurt just as much as you don't want to have them hurt.
No.
And they're kind of mama bears too of their kiddos.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are.
All of the ones that I met definitely were mama bears for those kids, even though they were not their kids.
Yes, they love them like their own. It's the best part, I think, of the daycare experience is that the teachers literally love the children like their own. I did do some research. So brightfutures.org has an article called Promoting Healthy Mental Development, and it's called On Aggression. And it said they had like a short little spiff here for guidance for parents. And it says it's normal for a child to sometimes have aggressive feelings, but it's not okay for them to take those feelings out on others in ways that can cause harm. You have to teach them to control their hostile impulses. I just thought that word was an interesting choice, but hostile's fine. We're going to go with it. They said you should never allow the hitting, biting, or other aggressive behaviors. Respond to excessive aggressiveness promptly. Calmly show your disapproval. Tell your child that no, that hitting hurts or it's not okay. There's lots of ways you can phrase that. This is their example. Take away the objects if the child is using an object aggressively. And then if you have to, remove your child from the situation altogether. And we were talking about the timeout chair. Like, this is something that that's what they mean, is by taking them out of that situation. And then to encourage them to express their feelings and talk about their negative emotions rather than acting them out. I get the idea behind it, but for most 1 to 3 year olds, that's not realistic. I think we're just now getting into the part, and he's like 4.5, and I feel like now he can express his feelings and be like, well, you hurt my feelings.
And like speak.
Yeah, he's like, you hurt my feelings when you told me I could not jump off the couch. We're just now to that point. So I don't know that part necessarily applies if we're talking from the 1 to 3 year olds, but definitely when you get in the 4 and 5s and they can communicate, you're going to start being able to have those discussions. Be like, do you understand why mommy was upset? Is because you scared her when you were diving off the couch. Like, that's not a safe behavior. And they can communicate back, well, I didn't like it when you told me I couldn't dive safe, off the couch,
My favorite reaction is when my kiddo turns to me and goes, but I didn't get hurt. And I'm like, ugh. That's like the one thing that I hate. But he's older. So remember, we're sticking to this year to 3 years.
Yeah. And they said that you need to help facilitate the language communication. And so, tell them, ask for what you want instead of taking it. Try, like when they're playing with others, try to have them trade and take turns versus taking, obviously. And then they said try to make games out of situations, like maybe you have to flip a coin to see who can swing first. And then, limit how long everybody's allowed to swing and versus, that kind of thing. So they're taking turns on an equal manner. And that tends to help. Sometimes they did put in here that, exposing your children to aggressive behaviors and violence on TV is, can also negatively impact them. And I just feel like there's been a lot of studies that that's not necessarily true. But I do agree with
the 1 to 3 years old.
I do agree with
they're really not watching much.
They don't understand what they're watching.
Typical 1-year-old to 3-year-olds are watching like Blippi. Like, let's be
Blippi's
real.
not aggressive. Actually,
one other tool that I really liked that's free, and there's many of them. There are these apps that are little counters. And so if you are needing to utilize time utilizing it with a child's like consequence of some sort, like a timeout or trying to get them to breathe or any of those situations, there's these awesome little apps. The one that I have is like a little egg, and the time is a big circle that's just colored white, and then as time passes it turns red, and as that circle changes it eventually will become completely red. Now it does have a timer where it has time on there, but because time is not an easy concept to understand with very young children, these types of apps are great because that color change lets them know, oh, it's almost completely red, so then I can get up. So I need to just calm down. It's fine. I don't have much longer. And then at the end, most of these app ones that you get, something will happen. Like it'll be a little party scene and a little dog will pop out or whatever. And they also sell ones that are physical little clocks, like a what you would utilize like in a kitchen timer. However, instead of having numbers everywhere, it might have some numbers, but it's a color change to that wheel that's the most important part.
I think that's really smart because they don't know what the numbers mean. That means nothing to them. They do understand color concepts or picture concepts, and so that kind of thing at that age is perfect for them. So that's really good. I never thought of those, honestly. So I like that idea a lot.
They're really great when you're trying to work alongside the child with learning how to bring my anger back to a manageable level.
So if we used the Alexa timer, and we'd be like, Alexa, set a 2-minute timer. And he would scream, no, Alexa, don't do it. And you're like, no.
Once they realize that they can talk to those things, it's like game over, man. Because literally listen to Happy. Is it Happy every morning 'Cause I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is his favorite song. He plays that every morning because he yells at Alexa in the mornings to play that song. Which is still great, but yeah, if I tried to do a timer through that, he would just... I try and turn on and off his nightlight with it because my husband set it up where the nightlight like changes with it. And so I can talk to the Google or whatever, Alexa, I don't know what we have. And it's Alexa right now, I think. And we have both. I'm a loser. Anyway, so um so when I do it, he just shouts right behind me, "No, turn nightlight white." Because I'll change it to like a darker color and stuff. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway. Basically game over when they learn that.
Yes, once they figure that out. I would take the song Happy compared to... all I get is Sunflower, and it's really annoying. I'm really tired of that song.
Well, I really like that song, so I'm totally happy with it.
You're happy with Happy?
But I didn't intend that to happen. It just happened.
That's
but
funny.
The other thing that he's really digging right now is Metal Disney. So when we're in the car, I still get happy in the mornings over the speakers, but in the car, all he wants to listen to is Metal Disney. Like,
that's great.
I guess
just
metal covers of Disney songs.
Yeah.
I really like this one that's like by a guy that does like Viking ride to battle or sail to battle, I don't know, songs and stuff, but he also has a few that are Disney songs, and I'm all about it.
That's funny. Well, the wine should be tried by anybody. If you're brave enough to try it, it's pretty stout. I'm definitely feeling the effects of it. I've had a couple of shot glass size, tastings during this episode.
And if you're someone who wants to do mixers, I would assume this would do well like any sangria, like adding berries to it and making it kind of like its own little thing. I don't know if I would mix this with an alcohol to serve to people, another alcohol to serve to people, but
you could.
I definitely think it would do just as well as sangria does in their little mixes.
Yeah. It'd be fine. It'd be good. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the wine and motherhood adventure. Thank you for tuning in and turning up with us. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Mom's Guide to Wine, and that is with the number 2. Feel free to leave us a love note, episode suggestion, or just say hi.
What's up?
This is Eliza.
This is Rosie.
And we'll be spilling with you soon.
See ya.